One of the things I really like is propagation. And as a result, I try to propagate just about every species that I have. And one of the species that I just got a question about is, can one propagate ulmus? So the elms. Can you propagate those? And can you do that by taking cuttings? This video is about taking cuttings of elms. For taking cuttings, plastic baggie, rooting hormone, sharp scissors, and a pot with substrate. Now, you must have seen I have a video on how you propagate elms using seed. If you haven't seen the video, I'll pop a link down below and you can watch it after you've seen this video. Don't go away. Watch it later. Watch this one first and then by seed. Now, okay, these 4 elms have all been propagated by cutting. 3 of which by me and 1 by a commercial grower. This was a hardwood cutting taken in summer. This was a softwood cutting taken in summer. This was a hardwood cutting taken in winter. This one actually featured in my video on taking cuttings of elms in winter. If you have not seen that video, I would also recommend you look at the links down below. In fact, if you're going to watch that one and the previous one and this one, you might as well pop that like button and subscribe to my channel. How do you do it? For taking cuttings, what I use a plastic baggie, rooting hormone, sharp scissors, piece of metal to poke holes, a cup of water, and a pot with substrate, of which the top third is filled with vermiculite. I've watered it well, so it is nice and moist. Next to this, of course, you need cuttings. What I use is strong extending growth of this year. Branches that have more than 6 new leaves can be removed from the trunk. Use sharp scissors so you don't get a squashed end and clip them off. Once removed from the branch, you can remove the lower leaves from the new cutting, leaving 3 or 4 branches and a growing tip. If you're taking many cuttings, you can store these in some water. It is also possible to take branches that have 1-year-old wood on them already, but that doesn't seem to create a better cutting. Naturally, if your plant hasn't grown that much yet this spring and you really want to propagate them, it is an option to use the older stems. When using these older stems, keep at least 2 or 3 nodes, so don't make your cuttings too short. And ideally, you place the cuttings overnight in some water. Again, remove the lower growing tips from the plant. This is all going to be in the ground afterwards anyway. Keep track of top and bottom of your cutting, so you don't plant them upside down. Prepare the planting container by poking holes for each cutting in the vermiculite. Put some rooting hormone out of the pot on a piece of paper or other container so that you don't contaminate your rooting hormone with the cutting. Now it's a matter of taking each cutting, dipping the end in the rooting hormone, letting it sit for a little bit and then planting. By letting it sit, the hormone has a chance to really connect to the wound tissue. One by one, slide the cuttings in one of the holes. This should go quite smoothly, except for, of course, the thicker cuttings that might need a little bit of pressure. Make sure that you don't damage the cutting in this process and that the cutting sits flush at the bottom of the hole that you created. Now water the pot well and put the pot inside the baggie. Place in a dappled shade and wait for a couple of weeks until you see new growth appearing on the cuttings. Four weeks later, it is clear that the cuttings have started to grow. This is the time to open up the little baggie, allowing air to circulate, and that way the cuttings get used to the drier air again. 2 weeks later, you can take the cuttings out of the pot and plant them up individually. Keep them out of full sun for the first 1 or 2 weeks so you don't damage the young growth, and basically you've got a new plant, ready to start growing as a bonsai. Of course, in the first year you don't do anything except for allowing the tree to grow. So it is a choice whether you want to take them out of the pot and plant them up individually, or just leave them in this container until the season is over. For the benefit of this video, I'll take them out of the pot and show how nicely they have rooted. Look at those nice roots. One has rooted, 2, 3, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of 9 have rooted. Let's pot these up individually. Well, individually, in this case, in a growing out tray, just for the season. Don't really need them though. Who knows? Might have to do a giveaway at some point.